So my new book, Why We Eat Too Much, explains a new way of understanding obesity and weight regulation. And it sort of explains away why a lot of people who struggle with their weight have real difficulty readjusting it by dieting and exercise. The book was inspired by many patients who came to see me in bariatric outpatients clinic at UCLH. And they all sort of had similar stories. So they all said, yeah, they can lose weight by dieting and exercise, but they put it back on. It seems to just go back on and then they increase weight even more. And they'd come to be in this situation for years and decades, dieting and exercise, all the different fat diets, and they'd come to the conclusion that they just couldn't do it on their own. So they came to me to request either stomach removal or stomach bypassing surgery. I thought at the time, well, this seems really dramatic surgery, but something that should really be quite simple. So dieting and exercise, should work. It should be okay if you just continue doing it. But their perception seemed to be different. They seemed to think it was much more difficult than medics thought it would be. So I thought I'd go away and research the whole area of appetite, satiety, and metabolism. And that research forms the basis of the book. And I think this book uncovers a new and elegant way of understanding exactly how our weight is controlled. And it really does explain away all the difficulties that recurrent dieters have in readjusting their weight downwards. The main conclusions of the book are that our metabolism, this is the amount of energy that we just burn within our bodies by heating it, chemical reactions in those 4 trillion cells, our heartbeat, our breathing, all of that energy that we just use, even before we get out of bed, that's actually very dynamic and it can be switched upwards or downwards subconsciously by our bodies in order to protect a certain weight setting. And our metabolism can go upwards or downwards depending on whether we're overeating or dieting. And it works a little bit like the hydration system to keep our bodies well hydrated. So if we drink too much water, we tend to produce more urine. If we don't drink much water, we don't produce much urine. It's the same with eating. So if we overeat, we over-metabolize and we burn that energy off. If we go on a diet, we under-metabolize and we don't burn as much energy. And this is why dieters have such difficulty, because the metabolism is trying to protect your individual weight setting. We need to address the weight setting rather than counting calories, because the calories will just be, used up by decreasing metabolic rate. And everyone's weight setting is individually determined by their genetics, which we can't change, but also by external factors that affect us. And mainly this includes food, stress, and the quality of our sleep. And these factors can be changed. And if we can change them, we can change our weight setting without any calorie counting. As far as food is concerned, we know that insulin is a big factor in our weight setting. And you can sort of imagine the weight setting a little bit like a thermostat in your house. It might be set too high, it might be too hot. If you want to decrease the temperature in your house, you don't just open the window because the thermostat's going to react to that by increasing the temperature on the radiator. You actually want to reduce the temperature by decreasing the thermostat setting. And this is what we need to do with our weight. If we address the weight setting, we decrease it by changing those external factors, the weight will come down. Insulin is a big factor in our weight setting. If we treat someone for diabetes, for instance, with insulin, we know their weight will increase. We also know that if someone has a lot of sugar and refined carbohydrates like wheat in their diet, their average insulin level will increase and their weight setting will increase and their weight will follow. So by stopping sugar and decreasing the amount of refined carbohydrates that we eat, we decrease that weight setting. Another factor that's really important in the type and quality of food we eat is the fat vitamins, so the omega-3 and omega-6 vitamins that we have in all of the food that we eat, which is essential. We don't make it in our bodies, so we have to eat it. And the Western diet has a massive preponderance of omega-6. So this is mentioned in the book that the omega-6 sort of washes away and dilutes the amount of omega-3 in our diet, and the ratio changes significantly. And this has a really profound and damaging effect not only on our insulin profiles but also on our metabolism, and it will increase the weight setting upwards. So a Western diet, including a lot of vegetable oil, a lot of processed food, a lot of fast food, will increase that weight setting. So if we go away from that and we start to cook healthier home prepared foods, if we don't avoid saturated fats, which are actually not as bad for us as a lot of people make out, the history of, the reason that saturated fats have been a little bit demonized is in the book. If we go back to a more traditional way of eating, preparing our own foods, our weight setting will decrease and our weight will go downwards seamlessly. The final factor in the book that's mentioned to try and decrease your individual weight setting is to decrease your cortisone levels. We know that if you treat someone with steroids or cortisone, their weight will increase. In the same way, if you have a lot of stress, if you're not sleeping properly, if your work is, your work-life balance is dysfunctional, your cortisol level will be high and your weight setting will increase. So again, by addressing those factors, your weight setting will decrease and your weight will follow. So all of these factors are mentioned at the end of the book in order to try and, adjust your weight downwards permanently. And if we can do that, and enjoy it, then not only will you reach a healthier weight, but actually you'll have an enriched quality of life. And that's the basis of the book.